Hello and welcome to the Top Bins Premier League preview show. We've got all this weekend's action coming up after a horrible international break. Got to give you a little update of where me and Dave are sitting at the moment. Dave's been creeping back in the last few weeks, but we're even Stevens. We've both had another poor weekend of predictions for the last Premier League weekend. But Dave, tell them all about these results up here, mate.
That's all right, four each. So not a good week this week. You've dragged me back down to the 40% level. It's a few weeks now for you, Mike. A few weeks for you at 40%. But I got the one exact match, so that puts us at 52 all for overall picks, and you're up 7-6 in exact matches. So
It's too tight for my liking.
mate, she's watertight, tighter than a fish's butthole. But yeah, bring it on this week. Let's see what kind of picks you got to see what you can pull out here, and we've got some tasty fixtures.
Yeah, mate. All right, we'll start with probably the easiest game to predict this weekend. We'll go to my mates at West Ham. They got an easy home game at City this week.
Oh,
What
piece
do you
of
reckon,
piss.
Dave?
Yeah, I don't think we should waste too much time talking about this game because unless you're going to try and tell me that City somehow are not going to win this at a canter. 4-0 City, and yeah, the only way I see West Ham getting any joy here is if Edison gives away one of his trademark penalties. But no,
Yeah,
4-0 City all day.
I'm not going to put out a Mike special on this one and call it an upset. As much as I obviously love West Ham, as I've shown in the
Huge
previous
fan.
weeks.
Huge fan.
Massive fan. Pellegrini, call me.
Yeah, if Mark Hughes managed Manchester City again, that would just be your dream team, right? Sorry, West Ham. If he managed West Ham, that would be a dream team.
So West Ham are not going to win this game. Not got a quality backline, very susceptible. City have shown against much better teams that they can rip them apart. Nothing but a City win here. I'm going to go 4-1 though. I think West Ham might nick a goal. Arnautovic is a one bright spot for me. Felipe Anderson, even though he's not been consistent this season, scored a few goals in the last game. So I reckon they've got a bit of a threat. So I'm gonna go 4-1.
4-1, fair. Fair.
All right, let's go over to Goodison, mate. Everton, Cardiff.
Yeah, and I know you're going to say, my Lord and Saviour Gylfi, but yeah, I mean, it's hard to
Praise the Lord.
it's hard to pick against them really this week. Although I'm not sure he'll even play because the injury that he
Yeah.
sustained, he has not recovered at this point. But look,
Fantasy football fan is 75%, Dave. He's 75%.
yeah, well, that's right, 75%, but who knows? But look, against Cardiff, if I was Marco Silva, I'd probably rest him because I still think they win this. But they're not exactly, you know, I don't exactly expect them to smash them. I'm thinking 2-0.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you know what, Cardiff have been plucky in the last few weeks. And they've shown a bit of character, a bit of determination. Generally, they perform better when they're at home, in front of that ravenous Welsh crowd. They haven't got much else to do in Wales, so
Bit of rabbit.
got to cheer the boyos
Football.
on there. I'm joking. I love Wales, lovely country.
It is a beautiful country.
So, but I think Everton at home are probably going to pose too much of a challenge for Cardiff in this game. Cardiff might nick one in this game. Though I'm going to go 3-1 Everton.
3-1. Fair.
Yeah,
Fair.
3-1.
That's saying Etheridge is going to let a few in, but no, fair enough.
Now, talking about our Lord and Saviour, he was similar. He's got lots of similarities to Jesus Christ, Glenn Murray,
Glenn Murray.
and he is 474 years old.
Oh, I mean, you stop counting. It's like immortality. I mean, when do you just stop counting? He's like the Highlander. There can be only one, Mike. There can be only one.
He's performed miracles, just like the aforementioned Jesus Christ. He doesn't quite have the flowing mane that he
Yeah.
has, but I'm sure Chris Hughton prays to Glenn Murray every night and not to Jesus. So
Oh, and I mean, if
I'm
Glenn Murray,
yeah,
if
to the
Glenn
Amex,
Murray
though.
grew long hair, I mean, it would be instant pregnancy to all the women in England.
He's potent. He is potent, that lad. All right, Brighton, Leicester. Sorry, Glenn Murray, mate. We love you. We do
I-
really love you.
Yeah, we joke, but it's out of love. I love Glenn Murray. This will be an interesting game. Brighton need to sort themselves out. They were shabby last week. Leicester weren't a lot better, but you can kind of excuse that in the first home game since the tragedy.
Yeah,
I think this is going to be a very, very tight game. But for me at the moment, Leicester just aren't quite clicking. They're not
no,
quite playing the fluid football. I think you mentioned in our review show that poor old Jamie Vardy, it's just those little bits of luck just aren't going his way at the moment.
that's right.
Um, and Glenn Murray, he'll just pounce on that. Zimmer frame pounce on that.
Like it.
Any sloppiness from Wes Morgan and Glenn Murray will be there to mop it up. And yeah, look, I think this will be a close game, but I'm actually going to pick Brighton 2-1.
Well, Leicester without Harry Maguire definitely going to suffer a little bit. Doesn't look like he's going to be fit in time. Probably out for another couple of weeks, to be honest, which is a big blow for Leicester because even Maguire at 75% is probably better than any of the other centre backs they've got
Certainly.
at the moment. They'll probably put the young Turkish lad in. I'm not going to even try and pronounce his name, but that young Turkish lad, they're probably going to chuck him in at the back with Wes Morgan. I've not been convinced by him, to be honest, since he's joined Leicester. He's had a few games covering for Wes Morgan when he's been suspended.
He
And
didn't look that comfortable, did he?
he's not looked up to the Premier League, and he's young, and he's come from the Bundesliga, different pace. And he's got to get used to the game over here. It's going to be difficult though, and he's going to get a game against Glenn Murray and Brighton. I think Murray will probably target him with that physicality. He'll be all over him. I can see Leicester scoring goals in this game. I think there will be goals in this game, but I think that it'll be a very, very close game. Two teams that are going to be pretty desperate to get the points in this. Leicester, like I said, they weren't great last time out, but an emotionally charged game that was, and it's easy to forgive and understand why they didn't quite turn up. But I think they will turn up in this game. But I also think Brighton will. Chrissy Houghton won't be happy with that last game. Won't be happy with dropping points.
Give me a score here, buddy. Give me a score.
It's going to be tough. I'm going to go 1-1.
1-1. Fair.
It could be a higher score draw than that, but I'm going to go 1-1.
Yeah, my 2-1, I'm picking a late winner here as well. I think 1-1's a good shout. I'm just picking that Brighton will just come away with it. But I think, yeah, all your points are pretty well raised there. It could be a cracker.
Yeah, should be a good game. All right, let's go to Old Trafford. Our mate Jose, playing host to Crystal Palace. What do we reckon?
Look, Crystal Palace are better away than they are at home, but that really, again, doesn't say a lot, does it? I'm not sure if Zaha's back this week. I think he's in that 70...
Tony's got a fitness test to go through later on this week, but he looks like he's going to be ready.
Well, I mean, that adds some spice, doesn't it? Because his time at Old Trafford wasn't particularly successful. And I'm sure he'd like to go back there and, show the Old Trafford faithful exactly what he's made of. But I mean, I don't see it.
A bit of pace as well. They're susceptible to a bit of pace at the back. So.
They are. I mean, I just am not convinced by them defensively at all. And Fellaini's new haircut, I mean, how that's going to affect him, who knows? He's going to work out a whole new aerodynamic. It's just all gone out the window.
Reports are that security might not let him in because they won't even know who he is, mate.
It kind of looks like Mkhitaryan now. It's kind of scary. But like, didn't we trade you away for this guy who's on 400,000 a week and does nothing? But look, United's got to win this game. You can't lose this game at home to Crystal Palace, especially in the form Crystal Palace are in. And look, De Gea's got to keep a clean sheet because he has barely kept any. I think he's kept one. And that's just not good enough from a keeper of his quality. Even with the guys in front of him giving him more to save, I still think this could be a game where he does that. I think they'll come out of this 2-0.
Yeah, look, this could have been a contender for a Mike's moment of magic for the week, in terms of an upset, Davey. But I just think that if it was Palace at home, I might have a different opinion. Tighter pitch, fans behind them. Could make a big difference, but I think at Old Trafford, I probably got too much quality. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if this ended up a draw. It wouldn't be a massive shock to me, but I still think United are going to win. I'm going to go with United 2-1.
2-1. Yep. No, fair call.
Yeah. 2-1. All right. To your boys now, away at Watford.
This could be a good game.
It's got the makings of it, Dave.
It does. Watford, though, up and down like a horse draws, really, aren't they? I mean, it's really hard. You praise them one week, and then the next week you think, God, what have I just said on YouTube? Because these guys are awful, and
Yeah.
they were awful against Newcastle. Um, I mean, so many chances, and they spurned so many. But you got to imagine that's going to make them come back strong. But for me, it's again, I just Liverpool have just been doing the job. Not always beautifully, but they've been doing the job. They seem to have come through the international break unscathed, other than Mane getting booed by his own fans so badly that he was crying on the pitch and had to be assisted from the field. Um,
Emotional injuries, Dave. Emotional
yeah, well,
injuries.
I think he's got to actually take a look at himself. I mean, he's missed a clear-cut chance on international duty. He's missed several in the last few weeks in the Premier League. Yeah, he really needs to find some form. But luckily for him, Mo Salah has found some form, and your favourite, the Power Cube, Shaqiri, has also found a bit of form. Now, this is a question: where are Watford on the table at the moment? Because if they're not in the bottom eight, apparently Shaqiri won't
Um,
score.
well, yeah, I think they're just outside now, aren't they? Because they've
Yeah,
had a
that's
couple of
right.
couple. Of, so this is prime for Shaqiri
This
to
is
get
like,
one of his 6 goals
oh,
a season. This is, I
yeah.
mean, he's filled his boots against Fulham. What a game that is for him. He looks at that, just licking his chops. He loves games like that.
And he duly
Um,
delivered, sir.
but
Look, now, look, let's get down to business here. Come on. We want predictions. That's what this is about.
give it to us,
Um,
Dave.
Look, Watford have improved and then dropped and improved and then dropped, and they were awful last week, and I just can't see them coming out and beating Liverpool. It's just not going to happen. Liverpool have been keeping clean sheets, playing well, and look, I'm going 3-0. I think Liverpool need to pull something out here, and Watford could feel the wrath of Mo.
Mo could burn them. I think this is another one of those games that can be very close, and it really depends on who gets the first goal. I think if Watford get the first goal, then Vicarage Road's going to be rocking. We've seen that when they get the first goal against big teams at home, they kick on and they do a good job of really giving them a good game. Um, but having said that, I mean, if you're looking at the teams on paper, Liverpool have got a far superior squad. They've got so many players that can cause Watford problems. Watford are not in a great run of form at the moment, which is obviously going to detract from the chances of them being able to get a result from this game. I think it will be close though. I think Watford will get a goal in this. Um, I'm going to go 2-1 to Liverpool. I think
Okay.
I think enough. I think they'll miss some chances, and I think Watford will put them under, and it'll be close. But Liverpool managed to get the 3 points.
Yeah, well, they can't miss as many chances as Watford did against Newcastle, that's for sure.
No, impossible. All right. So this was going to be billed as the battle of who gets sacked first, but Slavis has done Mark a favour, and he's got popped off before he could even get to this game. So it's actually the Dilly Ding Dilly Dong derby now.
That's
This one.
right. But
And,
oh boy, does it add some spice to this game, doesn't it? I mean,
well,
this has just gotten
A
tasty.
Premier League winning manager coming into Fulham, and the worst man on the face of the earth managing Southampton for potentially the last time. Where's this one going to go, Davey?
Well, look, this is really interesting, and it was so funny watching back the review when the smoke alarm went off in my house, and we joked that that was the alarm going off at Fulham, and literally hours later, not even hours later, he was sacked. So that was that. I mean, top bins, the Oracles. Say what you will, team. Say what you will, but
Head of the eight ball, mate. We are.
look, to be fair, you didn't have to be blind. Freddie could have picked them getting sacked.
Yeah.
And Mark Hughes isn't far behind. And I see Ranieri just coming in and instilling a bit of confidence into a Fulham side that desperately needs some.
Yeah.
And I think, look, he's an Italian manager. What do Italian managers pride themselves on? Defence. And I cannot see, even after this short amount of time, Fulham being as bad and as disorganised at the back as they have been. And that alone should do the job, because going forward, they've not been awful.
No.
Whereas Southampton, to be fair, have been awful everywhere. Um,
Yeah.
Charlie Austin will park life me for it, but I mean they were lucky last week to get the chances they got. They were desperately unlucky at times, but I think Fulham are going to walk away with this. But it's not going to be a great game. But I think I can't see them keeping a clean sheet. But I think 2-1 Fulham take this out.
2-1. Yeah. Look, I think if this was pre the news of Jokanovic going and Ranieri going, I think it would have been a lot closer. I think it could have been really niggly.
Mm.
Two teams really desperate for 3 points um, to turn their seasons around, essentially. Then this is a pivotal moment for them.
Huge game.
In the run up to Christmas, you need to pick up points because they're going to come thick and fast over that time. But now that Ranieri's in, you've got to think that the new manager bounce is going to come in and he's going to have an impact. Now, I don't know if I think he's going to have a huge impact on that defence. I think he's only had less than a week to work with them. I don't know how much he's really going to be able to change in that amount of time with no new players. But what he will do is he will be looking for players to impress him, and he's going to say, "Look, he prides himself on going into teams and getting that back line sorted. He'll tinker with the rest of the team, but he gets that back line sorted. And he'll say, look, lads, your places are up for grabs.
Yeah.
If you want to stay in the team long term, this is your chance now.
Yeah.
This is the game to do it in.
Show me you want it.
Yeah, and so I still think Fulham are very poor defensively. So I do think they're going to give up chances. I think Danny Ings is looking probably the only bright spark of Southampton's miserable season this season. And so I think it's going to be open as well. I think there's going to be chances because I don't know if Fulham know any other way to play other than that. They're a very open team. We've got a lot of good attacking threats. I think they'll cause Southampton a lot of problems. I'm going to go 4-2 to Fulham.
Oh, that's tasty. That's tasty.
I hope it's a good game.
Well, I mean, look, Ranieri, I think, was it? And you might correct me here. This is ballsy without fact checking it beforehand, but I think it was Palmer that he took over, and they were dead last in Serie A. No one gave them a hope, and they ended up finishing 12th. And it was a similar position. And look, he's done it before. We know he's a quality manager. Like you say, I don't think he's going to change the defence in a week, but I think all the things you've said there, he's just going to give them an injection of confidence and say, if you want this, take it. And guys like Alfie Mawson, they've played well in the Premier League before. Yeah. We know he can do it, so let's see if he can for a new manager.
We know he's a great manager as well. We know he gets the best out of his players.
Right.
He made Vasilevsky at Leicester in that championship winning season look like a top tier defender when he's actually just a cheap Zangief knockoff from Street Fighter. But he's not a bad manager. He'll get those players fired up for that game in particular. So
and he bought Jokanovic, wasn't it? That was his first signing at Chelsea.
He did, and he was the manager that Jokanovic got all 29 appearances for Chelsea under. So a bit ironic that he was the one to replace him, but it's great to see him back. And the press conferences are going to be absolute banter, mate.
Oh, he's been great already. I'm so happy to have him back.
Yeah. All right, look, London Derby, big game, biggest game on paper of the weekend. Spuds against Chelsea. It's a tough one to call. David.
Is it really a tough one to call?
Well,
I mean, I think
it's always going to be tough. It's always going to be tough when you've got two big teams. But I think Spurs aren't playing great at the moment, so it makes it a little bit easier. But
yeah, I mean, I think on paper, without taking form and the season to date into account, sure, it's a tough game. But I think based on what we've seen this season, I mean, you've got to. For me, you've just got to go Chelsea. I mean, Chelsea are doing everything right at the moment, bar the odd draw. But I mean, they're not losses, and Spurs just look lethargic. They've had more players, smashing around, playing pointless games against Croatia for England and the like.
It's coming home, mate. It's coming home.
That's right, yeah. We'll do a special episode when it does. But look, I just can't see them. They look to be running out of legs before Christmas, and that is a really scary sign. I picked Chelsea winning this game, and look, Rudi Rudiger, he was on point for Germany this week. He's absolutely tearing it apart as a centre-back for me. He's been one of the form centre-backs of the league. And I'd certainly love to have him there over Dejan Lovren. He scores goals, he stops goals. Apparently, he's the best defender in the world to not be able to start for your team. That's fantastic. Yeah. But I picked Chelsea here. And look, Kane will score if he gets a sniff. I just don't know if he'll get a sniff. But I think it'll be tighter than perhaps Chelsea like, and I think Chelsea might just squeak at 1-0. Yeah,
look, I think it's going to be a close game for about 50 minutes. 50, 60 minutes. There won't be much in it. And again, the first goal is really important in this one. I think it can really change a lot, because if Spurs get it, they will take heart from being able to sit in and defend. And they've got enough holding midfielders in Dyer, Dembele, the world's greatest player, Moussa Sissoko. They've got
Most
enough to be
agile
able
man
to,
on the planet.
there you go. They've got enough to be able to go toe to toe with Chelsea if they get a lead. But I think Chelsea got far too much quality. Looks like Trippier is going to be missing for Spurs as well, which means it's even more likely that Hazard's going to be having a field day. And Willian looks in banging form this season as well. They've created a lot even when they haven't won their games. So even against Everton, they created quite a lot of chances. And if it weren't for Jordan Pickford, they would have won by 2 or 3 goals.
And Lloris hasn't been as convincing as Pickford, has he? I mean, Pickford's been far more convincing in goal than Hugo Lloris has been.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So having said that, Tottenham going to win 3-0. See you later. Nah.
Do it.
So
do it.
I'm gonna go with Chelsea on this one. It's hard to know whether Spurs are going to nick a goal in this or not, but I'm gonna go 3-1 to Chelsea.
That's savage. I love it. I love it.
All right. This could be a very, very open game and a bit of a cracker. Potential to be a game of the season, I reckon. This one, Bournemouth against Arsenal.
Potential game of the season is a massive call, but I do see where you're coming from. I mean, we're at the Vitality, aren't we? And I mean, Bournemouth, man, in parts, they have just looked so good this season. Some of the away form's been pretty awful, though, as bad as the kit, but at least they're back home now.
Shocking kit.
Shocking is the forward play from Arsenal last week. I mean, that was horrific. Aubameyang and Lacazette were just out of order. Just hang the out of order signs up. Don't put your coins in, lads. You can't play this game. They were awful, and they're awful at the back. They've been bailed out a few times by some good goalkeeping from Bernd Leno. But look, I feel this could be tasty. I feel this could be very tasty, especially if you're a Bournemouth fan. And I don't know whether I want it more than I think it's going to happen, but I'm going to go Bournemouth 1-0.
Oh, 1-0 to the Bournemouth.
1-0.
Unbelievable,
I think it's going to be niggly as hell, and I think it's going to come down to just one great chance that's going to fall to Wilson or something like that, and he'll just bang one away.
So I think I'm going to go polar opposite to you on this one, Dave. I think it's going to be an absolute humdinger of a game. I think both teams play very good football on their day. Both teams have got lots of attacking threats. Mm-hmm. Both teams are pretty susceptible at the back. Probably Arsenal a bit more than Bournemouth, but definitely both teams susceptible at the back. I think that out of Vitality, I think Bournemouth are going to be well up for this game. They've been in great form. I do think that they might suffer a bit of fatigue from some of their players who don't normally play international football, having played international football. But
Fraser played 90 minutes, didn't he?
Well. Yeah, there's confidence to be taken from that as well. Though Wilson got his first goal for England. He's got to be buzzing with that.
Yeah, Fraser scored for Scotland as well, but played all 90 minutes.
Scotland.
Yep.
Yeah. So, look, tiredness could come into it, but it's a big game against a big team. I do think there'll be an upset, but I'm not going to go with the 1-0 that you've gone with, Dave. I think it's going to be 2-2. I think it's going to be a draw. I think Arsenal got enough to get a point at Bournemouth, and Bournemouth, I think if you gave it to them now, would snap your hand off. I think 2-2.
Yep, no, fair call. And I think, look, just on the Scotland game as well, that's one of the latest internationals to be played in terms of when the players will actually get back to their teams. And that's got to have an impact on Fraser, and Fraser has been just so key to all the good work that Bournemouth have been doing. The forwards have been playing well, but it's the link to the forwards that's been the key of their season so far. So, yeah, you'd certainly want to see him fit and rearing to start. Yeah,
definitely. Got to agree with you there, Dave. But I think it's going to be an open game. 2-2 could be a cracker.
Oh, should be.
Wolves against Huddersfield, Dave. It's got to be one winner in this. It's got to be Wolves, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not going to argue on that one. I mean, picks are pretty similar this week, but to be fair, that's just because of what's been put in front of us. You can only pick the games in front of you, and
you can only beat who's in front of you.
That's it. And I just can't see Wolves not beating Huddersfield. Huddersfield have started to collect a couple of points, which I'm really happy for them for, and score a couple of goals. And and good on them, and I hope it continues. But Wolves have just been, bar a couple of game blip, just so good,
Yeah.
thoroughly enjoyable to watch. Quite happily watching every single Wolves game every week. It's just been fabulous, and I picked them for a clean sheet as well because of Huddersfield's drought. I don't see them scoring. I think Wolves could actually tap them up a bit, and I'm going 3-0 to Wolves.
3-0, yeah. Look, I can't disagree with any of those points, Dave, to be honest. I think Huddersfield have looked very, very impotent going forward. They're lacking that spark, that bit of quality. They've had some digs from distance and stuff,
Mm.
but there's not consistently good chances being created there. And Wolves, on the other hand, are creating week in, week out against pretty much any team they come against. And even though the results haven't gone their way in the last few weeks, they got a good draw against Arsenal last week. But
Very good draw.
other than that, not being great results. I think they're going to have way too much. I think Jimenez, Neves, Costa, I mean, all those lads, Caballero, Traore off the bench, all those guys have got a bit too much pace, a bit too much quality for them. Nuno haven't fired up after that 1-1 with Arsenal. They should have really won it, and he'll make sure they know they need to go and get the 3 points against Huddersfield. So I'm going to go 2-0 to Wolves in this one.
Fair.
Yeah. All right. Save the best till last, Dave. This one is an absolute cracker. It's Burnley against Newcastle.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a cracker, but
It's the battle of the goatees, isn't it?
well, yeah, that's true.
Daishi
and,
against
and Rafa. Yeah, well, look, if it's
Who's got a better goatee, Dave?
for me,
Daishi,
it's Rafa all day. Rafa's his culture.
Rafa.
It's been there a long time.
Yeah,
it knows what it's
yeah.
doing. It's confident
it's
in
gone-
itself.
Yeah, there's wise words that come through Rafa's, whereas Daishi just feels like there's a lot of cigarette smoke that comes through.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Look, Burnley. I'm waiting for the European lag to disappear, but it just still hasn't. And Joe Hart, he's had moments, but the Cadbury chocolate wrists, they're starting to come back. He's certainly not got the Pornhub wrists of your man Jordan Pickford,
No.
and it's the defence is what got them where they were last season. They were scraping out 1-0 wins. They were keeping clean sheets or keeping games tight because of their defence, and they just don't seem to have that this year. Their strike force, Burnley's strike force, is so one-dimensional. All of their strikers just seem to play the exact same role. Chris Wood just hasn't kicked on as a New Zealander how I'd love to see. You thought the year for Leeds that he was really starting to kick on to the player that you thought he could become, but he's just really stalled in his development. Whereas Newcastle, look, as dire as some of the setups have been and some of the five at the back rubbish that they played against Chelsea earlier in the season and the like, they're creating chances and they've got some pretty dynamic players, guys like Kennedy, Perez. They do a job and they do it well. And half the time, a guy like Perez needs to pop up once and that'll wrap a game up. And that's exactly what I think is going to happen here. I don't think Newcastle will keep a clean sheet, but I think it'll be a 2-1 Newcastle win. And that's 3 on the trot I'm picking here for Newcastle.
2-1. Wow. Rafa's going to be a happy boy after that. It's going to be very tight, Dave. I can't see there being much quality or class in this. Rondon will be confident after his 2 goals. Cracking second goal last week. I think that this is the kind of game that Goodmanson's name is written all over for Burnley. It's the kind of game that I think he can take advantage of and really be pivotal for Burnley. And because Burnley are the home team, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt in this one. I think it will be close. I think it will be scrappy. I'm going to go Burnley 1-0.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And Goodmanson to score just on top of that as well.
And you think Chocolate Wrists will keep a clean sheet? That's savage.
Yeah, I just don't think Newcastle create enough, to be honest, mate. And I think that they might struggle this week. They're two wins in a row, great stuff for them. But I think this is probably a bridge too far to go away and get the win. But I wouldn't be surprised either way. But I'm going to go 1-0 Burnley.
And look, Rondon just tends to score a couple and then go on holiday for 10 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Like he's like
Adebayor syndrome, we call
that's
that,
right.
mate.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, look, YouTube, that's your lot. Praise the Lord, Gylfi Sigurdsson, that Premier League football's back this weekend after an horrible international break. We've loved this. We hope you've loved it. Don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, hit those Movember links. They're coming. Look, it's coming along. Davey's doing a great job over there. Make sure you support the cause. It's a great cause. And don't forget to check out our Facebook. It's facebook.com/TopBinsFantasy. And don't forget to check out the review of last weekend's action. We can't wait for the Premier League to be back. We'll see you next week for the review. See you later. Cheers.